Well, I want to thank you for coming. This press event is about the recent ruling of the Ohio Supreme Court, who ruled against the city in regards to our construction residency law, which is better known as the Fannie Lewis law. Just to give you some history, this is a pattern of behavior by the state legislature and the state Supreme Court in making rulings that are in violation of what we believe are home rule rights, constitutional rights. It goes everywhere from city employment for city employees. Their ruling in regards to that, their rulings in regards to our challenge to gun laws, and particularly assault weapons. Our actions that we took in regards to predatory lending, all of these things were essential and important to local communities, and we believe we had the right to home rule on all of them. And we were ruled against by the Ohio Supreme Court, and legislation was passed by the Ohio legislature against the proposition that we have a right to protect our citizens and to do what is best for the city of Cleveland and the citizens of the city of Cleveland. Now, the most recent thing is our residency law on construction, the Fannie Lewis law. And be patient with me. Let me give you a brief history here to show you that this is just not a fly-by-night thing. When I was council president about 15 years ago, I worked with the building trades. Lori Soggs was then the president of the building trades. And we worked and we met monthly and sometimes bi-weekly for a year or more to fashion what we now call the Fannie Lewis law, that really said that 20% of the construction hours spent on construction work where the city of Cleveland has investment in that project, that 20% of those hours would go with the Cleveland residents. And we're not just talking about residents with no skills or people who had no ability. We're talking about people who would become or either members of or would become part of the building trades. So it took us over a year to negotiate that, and we came up with a solution. And let me tell you, since that time, over the last decade, there was a 10-year assessment just reported, and as a result of the Fannie Lewis law, this law that got overturned on just the public sector side, not the private sector side, there was over $232 million that was paid to Cleveland workers as a result of this law. Now, and that also points out during this study that our goal was 20%, our requirement was 20%, and the contractors and the building trades performed at 24%. So they exceeded it. And not only did they exceed it, we worked with the building trades to create a pipeline where we now have the only state-certified pre-apprenticeship program in a public school at Max Hayes that is run and curriculum developed and ran by the building trades. And because of that, we've been able to take young people who would never have the opportunity to be part of the building trades, to move them into a pre-apprenticeship program, into a apprenticeship program, to a journeyman working on all these major projects that you see where the city of Cleveland has had a participation in the financing of it. Now, finally, we worked on a community benefits package. And that community benefits package is an agreement that we have with our partners in the private sector. It goes not only to employment opportunities, but it goes to contracting opportunities, where contractors who had never been able to work on a job now have the opportunity to work on these jobs, major construction jobs or small jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, it worked. It worked. It helped produce equity in the city of Cleveland. And it helped to eliminate disparity in the city of Cleveland. And it was a partnership that was adopted by this entire community that worked. And the state legislature and the state Supreme Court has just overturned that. So I'm going to turn it over to Dave Wondolowski, who is head of the building trades, and he will give you more details.
Good afternoon. The building trades are saddened today and disheartened by the ruling from the Ohio Supreme Court. We're still reviewing the decision and looking at what options we have, and I'm certain that we'll be working along with the city to remedy this in any potential way we can. We also remain steadfast in our commitment to employ residents of the city of Cleveland. Through the Fannie Lewis law, our unions became stronger, larger, and more diverse and inclusive. That was a win-win for everyone. Men and women in the city of Cleveland not only getting a job, some kind of a temporary job, but actually getting into an apprenticeship program, which leads to a journeyman status individual that in time they are able to earn a pension and health and welfare, retire with dignity, and have a trade that they can take with them anywhere. The law has been very helpful in our recruiting efforts. The law has been a matter of sound public policy, so much so that it's been adopted in community benefit agreements with private owners. That's the extent of how much people appreciate the law and what it's done. We don't have a problem on projects where there's a city requirement for 20%. We exceed that percentage on a regular basis. We just recently built the Hilton Hotel, and yesterday in Crane's Cleveland Business, there was an article there. We had 76 brand new apprentices on that Hilton Hotel, 76 brand new apprentices, and yesterday it was reported that that project came in $30 million under budget. $30 million under budget. This is a matter, again, it's a matter of good public policy. We're going to continue to do business that way because that's our culture. We're going to continue to employ city residents, recruit city residents, and our contractors are going to continue to hire them because they're skilled people and they deserve the work. But today's a sad day when a community is not allowed to make sure or assure that its tax dollars go to support its local residents. The associations, contractor associations, and others that wrote briefs in support of this decision today are worried about profits. They're worried about profits and bottom line. This isn't about hiring the best qualified workers for those individual associations or trade groups. This is about hiring cheap workers that are unskilled, that come in here and don't pay local income tax, and that's what this law potentially can do. I believe with the resolve of the mayor, the council, and the business community here in Cleveland, we will continue business as usual. Thank you. Sorry. At this point in time, I'm going to bring up a good partner, a good friend, and a person that we've worked with on a regular basis here that's helped us in our recruiting efforts, and that is Norm Edwards.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is a very, very sad day for the entire city of Cleveland and a black eye to the entire state of Ohio. The progress that has been made with the Fannie Lewis law is unprecedented. 10, 15 years ago, at Cleveland Clinic, there was not one black contractor that worked on any of Cleveland Clinic's projects in their history. We've changed that. We've taken young men and women, city residents, who pay taxes in the city of Cleveland, and we have recruited them and started a pre-apprenticeship program and worked jointly with the city of Cleveland and with the building trades to get them into the building trades unions through their apprenticeship programs. It has worked. We have journeymen now that are making top wages. All of the projects are going well throughout the greater Cleveland area. And you get a Supreme Court decision that wants to reverse it. I say it's Donald Trumpism at its best. We're going in reverse now. The racism is terrible here, and it's got to stop. I mean, why would you overturn something? We're trying to stop the young men and women, give them an alternative instead of going to college, give them a great alternative. These are life-changing jobs that we were not allowed into before. We've broken a barrier. We've gotten there. And now they want us to go in reverse. We're not going anywhere. We're going to fight this fight. We're going to continue to do what we do to improve the city of Cleveland, and we're going to move forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Everyone needs to understand that your state government has failed you. They have failed you at all levels. The House bill that was initially passed didn't seek to solve a problem, it created a problem. It didn't seek to solve an injustice, it created injustice. We locally were working. It is uncommon to have the public sector, the unions, the private sector working together to come up with the best projects for our community. But the geniuses in Columbus thought that they know better. The big government types in Columbus thought that their way was better because they're from Columbus. Well, let me tell you, they have failed you. And what I would encourage everybody to do is look at where did the money come to get those votes to fail us. We need to look at that. Not to be lost. The Ohio Supreme Court failed us. And what everybody should know is what this Ohio Supreme Court did is they essentially allowed the legislature to amend the Constitution without a vote of the people. What the Ohio Supreme Court said is that the legislature under Section 234 can do whatever it wants. It essentially amended out Article 18, which is our home rule authority. Your state government failed you at every single level. In the city of Cleveland, we're proud of the Fannie Lewis law. We're proud of the jobs it's created. We're proud to be standing here with the city, with the building trades, with the Black Contractors Association. In addition to those jobs it's created, there are dozens of examples of small businesses that became part of this as maybe a subcontractors that have gone on to build their business, to expand their business by hiring local. It's created opportunities. And now our state government is again trying to limit our local authority, and in doing so, they're trying to limit the opportunities that are available to residents of the city of Cleveland. Nobody should forget this. Nobody should forget this when you go to the ballot box. We have to pay attention to who we elect to the Supreme Court because, folks, we are at a low water mark for our state government. I'm counting on our newly elected governor. I'm counting on the new House leadership to right this wrong. I don't know what the answer is going to be, but we're not over. This isn't over today. This is just beginning. We're going to fight this. I don't know what it's going to look like, but trust me, this is not the end of this discussion. This is just the beginning. This is an absolute disaster. This is an absolute failure of our state government, and I look forward to everybody joining us in this fight. So thank you.
All right, any questions? Questions?
Mr. Mayor, I have one.
Yes.
Two-parter, actually. You spoke about Cleveland having a constitutional right to home rule.
Right.
Let me harken back to another Fannie Lou Hamer, who said in the 1960s, "Is this America?" Do you feel like Cleveland is a part of America today with this Supreme Court?
Well, we're part of the attitude that exists in America today. We are Americans. So we are part of that attitude that exists, that, as the Council President said, that an attitude that takes action, that creates injustice, that creates inequities, that continues to create a higher disparity gap. It is those kind of policies that result in the kind of social and economic conditions that we face today. This Fannie Lewis law, along with our community benefits package, was designed to eliminate those disparities, to create a better equitable outcome, to have everyone share in the prosperity. You know, these are Cleveland dollars. These are investments in Cleveland with significant Cleveland public dollars. And as in the building trades and the local contracts association agreed with us that because we are allowing these developments to occur to the tune of billions of dollars, that it's only proper and right that the people of the city of Cleveland participate in those jobs. And so this is about equity, this is about disparity, this is about justice and injustice. And the council president hit it on the nose, that these kind of things are creating injustice, not justice. They are creating wider disparity rather than eliminating, and they're creating inequities rather than equities. We have gone for a long period of time trying to close those gaps to make sure that everybody can participate in the prosperity and the quality of life, and now we have to face this.
Second part, what are you going to do now?
Well, that's to be decided. I know that one of the things we're going to do is we're going to file for reconsideration. We're not going to let them just go. I don't know if we have a recourse to a higher court. I don't think so, because it's a state issue. But I do believe, at minimum, we will ask them to reconsider their decision.
Mayor, will some of the projects that are on the city table now, will they have to be rebid out and redone? Well, how does that...
No, the condition by which we do things, they know when a contractor comes and bids, they understand that when they bid, there are certain requirements that they have to have. Some of those things may be MBE, FBE, and one of the major things is Fannie Lewis, because it is not a good faith or best faith. It is a law that says you have to do this, and you have some exemptions that you can get if in fact certain things happen, certain conditions. So those things that we've done so far, they're in effect, we're under contract. Those things as we go forward, I'm pretty sure the contractors will look at this decision and may make a decision that says, well, I don't have to do this anymore. What Mr. Wondolowski is saying, that from the building trades perspective, he's going to say to the contractors that yes, you do, even though the Supreme Court ruled this way. But we'll have to see how that pans out.
What do you tell the kids in the apprentice program? You're going to make it harder to stay here in Cleveland and get a job?
Well, what do you tell a kid on a dream deferred? What do you tell a kid that they know what their future and their opportunity to have quality of life and happiness has been deferred because, as Mr. Wondolowski said, because of somebody else's profit and bottom line who did not want this to happen statewide? What do you tell them? So what we're going to continue to do at our pre-apprenticeship program in Max Hayes, we're going to continue that. Mr. Wondolowski has committed that they're going to continue to use them in their apprenticeship program and bring them on as apprentices and hopefully journeymen as go along. But if there is an impediment to that and someone feels they don't have to do something, then that creates a problem. So all those young people who had that hope and that dream and that aspiration, the state Supreme Court and the state legislature just stuck a pin in it. Anybody else? You can tell I got an attitude, right? All right, thank you very much. Thank you.